All right. Well, I think we get stuck into it. So thank you all so much for coming. And anyone who's watching the recording afterwards, hello, hello. Today we're going to be talking about the 6 secrets to making sales easy, flowy, and scalable to grow your profit and impact. So if you are currently feeling like sales is little bit blah, hopefully today's masterclass gives you a little bit of inspiration, maybe a few tips. Yeah. So the way today will run is, if my slides work, the way today will run is essentially I'll give you a quick intro. So there are some people on the call today who are not Spark members. So I will just let you know who I am and why the heck I'm talking to you about sales. And then we're going to talk about our 6 secrets. So strategic vision, target setting, the 3 levers, knowing your numbers, making a sales a priority, and joy in the sales process. So if you have any questions, please do pop it in the chat anytime. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat. If I miss any, I'll make sure that we do have time at the end, and I'll go back through the chat and make sure that everybody gets their questions answered. So please, at any time, if you think of anything, drop it in the chat, and we will make sure that that is addressed. So before we get started, hi, I'm Danielle, and over the past 20 years, I have had a decade-long corporate career in sales, and that has spanned selling into retail, selling into small businesses, and then ending my career in enterprise and government, signing multi-million-dollar contracts for Australia's largest telecommunications company, the Big T. You can guess which one that was for. And while I was at Telstra, I actually launched my first business, Scrunch. It's an influencer marketing software platform and agency, and I led early founder sales and scaled a sales team there. So that means, oh gosh, it's getting on 12 years plus now that I've been in business for myself. Through that time, raised 3 million in capital for Scrunch. In 2020, I launched a direct-to-consumer lifestyle business, selling e-commerce and wholesale, which I went on to exit in 2021. And of course, here at Spark, selling courses, coaching, and our membership. So I tell you this because it means that over the past 20 years, if you have a sales problem, I've probably experienced it. I've really worked across all facets of sales. And and I will always spill the champagne. We don't spill tea here. We always spill champagne on anything. I'm super happy to share all of the secrets, all of my experiences, good and bad, to make sure that you amazing women in business shortcut your success, because business is hard enough. So we should share the secrets. Anyone who's on the call who doesn't know what Spark is amazing. It's like, it saves me in business every day. It's essentially a platform for women in business who want to grow their profit and impact. So we do this through heaps of free stuff. So if you jump onto the website, we have a podcast that is 3 times a week. So 2 amazing female founder interviews, and then a solo episode from myself. There's free masterclasses, free webinars, news, and then we have our membership. So our membership, of course, I'm biased, but it's amazing. And we do 4 calls live every month. We have a library of expert masterclasses. We actually get to work promoting you as well. So you get a podcast episode, a blog article, social shout outs, business directory listing. We have our Slack channel where people connect. And probably most exciting is our business grants. So we launched those at the end of last year, and we've just awarded the round 3 grant yesterday. So every quarter we give away $15,000 back to women in business, because nothing bad happens when women have more money. So that's all you'll hear about Spark, by the way. I hate masterclasses that promise you good outcomes and then just sell you crap. So that's it. That's me. That's Spark. That's all you get. But my intention for you today, so I want you to feel empowered when it comes to sales. I know that sales gets a bit of a bad rap. We've all had the used car salesman experience, or the experience with, an annoying retail salesperson following you around the shop. And we get this funny connotation when it comes to sales, that it's got to be icky and gross and forceful and yuck. And after 20 years, I can tell you that you can do it your way. You can bring the feminine energy vibes if you want to. You can sell and it not feel like crap. So I really want today for you to believe that sales can be simple. And then you have what it takes already to achieve your dreams and, whatever that looks like for you. So that's what I'm hoping that we all walk away feeling like after today's session. So let's get straight into it. So the first secret to making sales success is strategic vision. So really that is to set a guiding North Star and break down actionable steps towards achieving it. So what do I mean? What is a North Star? So in the context of creating a strategic vision for your business, a North Star is really just that clear long-term goal. It guides all of your decisions. It guides all of your products. It guides the strategy. It guides how you talk to the team. It's really a fixed reference point in the future. So if you guys actually know what a North Star is, this is a metaphorical North Star. It's essentially, the North Star in the sky is a fixed navigation point. So that's why we say, what is your North Star? What is that one thing that's in there in the future that if you're so passionate about, that all of your company's direction and decisions can align to that North Star? So why on earth should you have a North Star? Really 5 key things here. So it provides clarity. I mean, I don't know, feel free to put your hand up. How many people on the call ever sit down to start the day and you're like, I don't know what the hell to do. Like there's so many possibilities, so many things on the to-do list. I find that having a North Star can really provide that clarity. It's that understandable goal that every member, whether it's you or whether you've got a team, that they can work towards. It helps you really set your priorities and make decisions. 2, it ensures alignment. So if you do have a team, it does make sure that everyone's working towards the same thing and that you reduce the chances of efforts being scattered or counterproductive. The third one is it inspires and motivates. So this is both yourself and your employees. So, again, after being a woman in business for 12 years, the motivation can wane sometimes, let me tell you. So going back to something bigger than me, going back to that North Star can really provide that inspiration and motivation. Number 4, providing a measurement of progress. So, sometimes it's easy to put a dollar figure on your Post-it note or in your project management tool. And that's the thing I'm working towards. And sure, money and metrics are a great way to measure progress. But when you have that North Star, when you create milestones that are aligned to the North Star, it can actually help you achieve that long-term goal and adjust the strategies and tactics that you need to actually achieve it. And number 5, it can really help define the culture in your business. So a shared goal can really bring people together and get people excited about working on a vision and mission that's bigger than themselves. So having a North Star can, really, really help when it comes to sales because it helps you just move away from the dollars and move away from the pipeline and away from the spreadsheet and towards something that's a little bit more exciting and motivating. So I wanted to take this opportunity to share my personal North Star with you so that if you're thinking, North Star sounds great, Danny, but I'm not quite sure what you mean. So my personal mission is to empower more women to experience freedom through entrepreneurship and making money. And let me tell you why. I mean, that sounds great, but it has a really personal connection to me. So there's been 2 things that have happened in my life that have really cemented in this North Star for me. So when I was young, so talking kind of primary school vibes here, we didn't grow up with a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. There was always food on the table and a roof over our head. However, I have this clear memory of this experience where I was in charge at the grocery store of the calculator. And it was my job to add up every item that went in the trolley because we didn't want to get to the checkout and not be able to pay for groceries. So, that was embedded at a really early age. And then a second big thing that happened to me was I was in a decade-long relationship that was financially controlling. And as I have grown up a little bit and become a little bit more gray, those two things have really cemented in my mission. So whenever I do anything, whether it be in my business Scrunch or my business Spark, it is to make sure that I am empowering more women to never have to experience things like that in their own life. So, is anyone have a North Star? Is anyone open to sharing their North Star or why they started their business in the first place? You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you do want to come off mute or drop it in the chat, it'd be great to hear what other people are working on.
Yeah, I'm happy to share. My name's Elle. Hey, everybody. I'm from New Zealand and new to the space. So I've been in business for, oh goodness, going on to 20 years now in the personal development space. My personal North Star is to actually empower women globally to live the most extraordinary lives through intentional self-expression and self-leadership. And why it's so important to me is because after being in the personal development space for such a long time, what I've come to understand is that it's very masculine in modality and there is no space for the feminine. So self-leadership, intentional self-leadership is bringing the feminine back to humanity so that we can operate from a spiritual space and go into power rather than strength. So that's mine. Thanks so much.
I love that. That is absolutely beautiful. Really interesting. I saw this quote on Instagram the other day. Gotta love Instagram for your motivational quotes, but it was talking about how personal development, when it was targeted towards men, it was often the books are in the leadership section. And when it's targeted towards women, it's self-help. And, there's this really funny dynamic in personal development with the man versus woman and the masculine versus the feminine. So I absolutely love that you're bringing the feminine vibes and the feminine energy and helping women step into their power and understand their personal development. So that's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. We've got a couple of chats coming through. So Kelly from Woodlane Orchard, to save as much surplus produce as possible for human consumption and put dollars in farmers' hands. I love that, Kelly. And, we've recently chatted about your business, which is so awesome. And that's so cool, right? Like, there's so much food that goes to waste. And I love what you're doing in your business to make sure that actually, gets into our bellies and, supports farmers. It's awesome. It's so cool. Christine, to raise mental health and well-being for aged care by providing a really cheap and easy way for them to publish and record their stories, but also to help and support women founders write their business books to create authority. So good. I love that, Christine. Christine has an epic business. If you want to publish your story as a woman in business, Christine is absolutely the one to reach out to. Corinne, to help change unhelpful narratives, breaking childhood and generational traumas so that we and our next generations can thrive and live empowered. Oh, so good. So good. And Anushi, we've got, on the train. Thank you for being here. I love that. Our North Star is to protect vulnerable children and adults from preventable respiratory infections at home and on the go via lung delivery of therapies. I am needle phobic, which is why I discovered the tech. That is awesome. I love that. We've had a bit of a chat about your business as well. So cool. You are all amazing. This is awesome. I love when we have a powerhouse group on the call. So you guys inspire me. That is awesome. All right. So next thing, just a quick note before we move on here, it's great to have a North Star, but don't get me wrong, It's okay to be disconnected from that at times through our business journey. Maintaining your energy through different seasons can be really difficult. Again, as someone who's been in multiple businesses over 12 years, I do not wake up every morning wanting to, even though I have the North Star, I don't wake up every morning and want to jump out of bed. So the key is, when it all feels a little overwhelming, is to put one foot in front of the other and know what bite-sized pieces you can chew to keep moving forward in the direction of your dreams. So another note that I wanted to add here, sometimes achieving the North Star is not the point. So we don't want to get too hung up on the goal. The purpose is to help us make informed decisions today. So knowing that we are on the path to our mission is just as valuable as potentially wanting to achieve it. And your North Star can actually change. So you might find that it evolves as you evolve, and that's completely fine. You may experience something in your life that pushes you in a completely different direction. As I shared with my personal mission, that didn't start until, a decade ago. It was the culmination of different events in my life, and I finally had that come to Jesus moment that was like, oh my God, this has to stop. This is what I'm working on for the rest of my life. But you also might achieve your goal, which means it's okay to set a new target or, move in a different direction. So, yes, have a North Star. Yes, have that as your anchor point to help you guide the business and make strategic decisions. But be okay that it is the progress and that it might change. That is completely okay. So my hot tip when it comes to your North Star is to write it down and make it visible. So these are my 2 Post-it notes. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that I have a desk full of Post-it notes. It is a disaster, but I feel like if you can put something on a Post-it note, it's achievable. So firstly, my personal mission is to empower more women to experience freedom through entrepreneurship and making more money. And then the long term, I am the CEO of the world's largest media company for women in business. So writing down your North Star and making it visible so that that really cements in your brain what you're working towards. So I would encourage you, if you're not writing your North Star down consistently, make that a practice. Okay, number 2, target setting. So now we're getting a little more less woo-woo and a little bit more tactical. And this is understanding the importance of knowing your numbers for focused efforts. So first things first, how much money do you actually need to make? And spoiler, it might not be $1 million. Now, if you listen to our podcast, you will all know that I have a huge problem with people on the internet, on Instagram, who say you can be a billionaire in 17 seconds. It drives me bananas. Mostly because, it's very easy to get caught up in other people's goals. And if we are creating a business, it will be so strongly linked to our life. There is nothing worse than waking up every morning and working on somebody else's dream. It is so important to actually set aside time and sit down and understand what is right for you as an individual and as a business owner. So I would absolutely implore you to go through this exercise. So this is what we call the minimum viable revenue calculator. If you're a SPARK member, this is in your resources section, and it's just a super simple Google spreadsheet that you can duplicate and make your own. And it's essentially listing out, what does your life look like from an outgoing point of view? What expenses do you have? What are your savings goals? What are your investment goals? So how much do you actually need? What is your minimum viable revenue? And it has a handy little calculator at the bottom so that it calculates your profit margin on the products and services that you sell. So it tells you how much revenue you actually need and how many products you need to sell to get there. But why this is so important is because your dream life may actually be a couple of $100,000. you know, your dream life and what your goals are for your business might be, you know, all I want is an extra $10,000 a year because I want to take my family away on an amazing holiday every year and create those memories. It might be $1 million. It might be 100 million. It might be $1 billion. All I'm saying is you need to actually step back and make sure you have designed this for you. So, with that in mind, it is important to set targets for yourself and your business so you know what direction you are heading in. Just like our North Star keeps us moving towards the bigger goal, these smaller milestone targets help us with the tactical day-to-day tasks. So, I want to talk you through working backwards. Now, the other reason this is really important is because if your sales goal for the year is $100,000 or $1 million or whatever it is, waking up every morning and thinking, oh crap, how am I going to make $100,000? Or oh crap, how am I going to make $1 million? Can be super overwhelming and super stressful. When we chunk it down, it becomes more palatable and decisions and actions become a lot easier to take. So first thing we want to do is simply create a monthly sales goal. So I'm using round numbers because, you know, no one likes maths. So I've taken $100,000 as the example for today's exercise. So if we want to work out our monthly sales goals, this is not rocket science, people. $100,000 divided by 12 months is $8,334. Now, obviously, it's not rocket science to do that maths equation, but I'm always surprised by how many people haven't done it. So if you have a yearly target in mind, a number you want to hit this year, I would implore you to divide it by 12 and look at that number. So if you're now waking up in the morning going, oh, okay, I've just got to make $8,000. That is a lot simpler to think about than $100,000 or $1 million or whatever your target is. So absolutely chunk it down. The next thing we want to do is chunk it down into how many products or services I have to sell to actually achieve that monthly goal. So two scenarios here. Firstly, if you have a product that is a once-off cost, and then secondly, if you have a product that's more of a recurring subscription model. So again, let's take some round numbers. Let's pretend that our once-off cost is $100. So I sell these gorgeous mugs and they're $100. That's a very expensive mug. Don't buy that mug. But the idea is I have a product that costs $100 once off. So therefore, how many do I need to sell? So I take my $8,334, divide that by 100. That means I need to sell 83.34, 84 for round numbers, products per month. So now when I wake up in the morning, all I'm doing is saying, okay, how do I sell 84 of these? Because if I do that, if I focus on selling those 84 units, then I know I have achieved my yearly goal. The second scenario is a recurring subscription. So what if my product costs $100 a month? So let's say it is a piece of software or a membership or, you know, a program that somebody might go through. Your customer is now worth $1,200 a year because they pay you $100 a month. Now, for the financially minded people on the call, you may be sitting there thinking, yeah, but what if people cancel before the end of the year? And, you know, what if? Let's for today just work in round numbers so that we get something on paper. So if our customer is now worth $1,200 a year, we take our $100,000 divided by 1,200. So we need 84 customers in the year divided by 12, and then that leaves 7. So what that tells me is I actually only need 84 customers every year or 7 per month. So now when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking, okay, how do I get 7 customers this month? Again, take that difference from waking up going, how the hell am I going to make $100,000 to how do I secure 7 customers? It really changes the level of complexity and difficulty for our brains so that we can get more targeted. So breaking down our sales targets into those units is super effective for helping our brains tighten in and zero in on the problem that we need to solve. And again, you will hear me bang on about Post-it notes, but what we want to do is have that visible. So again, You know, if you have a to-do list that looks like this, that's a nightmare. You know, it's really hard to stay focused. So we want to put things on a post-it note so that it gets it really simple. 100K is my yearly goal. That's $8,000 a month or 84 products a month or 7, depending on if you're that subscription scenario. Now I've got this post-it note. It's stuck on my desktop screen and I'm super zeroed in and laser focused on the problem that I need to solve. I do that, I know I've hit my yearly sales goal. So breaking things down is super, super critical. Now, even when you break things down, sometimes it feels really hard to show up. Sometimes it is still overwhelming. Sometimes it is just you sit at your desk and you're like, I have an entire to-do list of things that I could do, and I don't want to do any of them. And I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed and paralyzed. I get it. So this is where bite-sized actions is a game changer. Now, here is a list of bite-sized actions that you could take to contribute to making more sales or moving your business in the direction that you're moving in. I would implore you to create your own bite-sized action list. So not all of these will be relevant to people, but a bite-sized action list is literally an ideas list where on the days where you do not feel like being there, you do not feel like showing up, you can look at this list and it is, okay, I can do that thing in 5 minutes and then I can hang my hat up today and feel like I've taken action to grow my business and move my business forward. So that might be something like talking to your ideal customer on Instagram stories. It might be pouring yourself a glass of wine, my favorite thing to do, and connecting with your ideal customer on LinkedIn. It might be sending an email out to your list. It might just be reaching out to a dream client. It might be reconnecting with a past client. It might be asking a current customer for a referral. Make sure they're a happy customer if you do that one. It might be sending an Instagram follower a voice note. It might be sending a customer that you're currently pursuing a valuable resource like a blog article or an invitation to a masterclass that you're about to host, you know, something just because. So some of those will be relevant to you and some will not be relevant to you. But the point is all of these can be actioned in less than 5 minutes. So when on the days where I'm like, I really don't want to do it today, but I don't want to go to sleep tonight thinking that I've wasted a day and I haven't moved the business forward, I can do one of these things and I've gone, yes, I have taken action today. I've kept up the momentum. I've kept going. Number 3, the 3 levers. So I love this one because again, I think love to overcomplicate business and overcomplicate sales. So there are 3 levers that you can pull in your business to make more money and or all 3 at the same time. So they are reaching more people, converting more people, or charging more money. So if you are currently sitting there thinking, how do I make more money? These 3 things are really important to think about. So what I want to do is talk you through these 3 levers in action. So let's all focus on the black box first. So let's just pretend that this is my business. So every month I have 1,000 leads that come through, whether that be people landing on my sales page on my website or whatever that looks like. I know my sales page on my website converts at a 1% conversion rate. So that means I get 10 customers a month. So I have a $100 product, so I make $1,000. Cool. Now, what happens if we pull one of these levers? And that is reaching more people. So let me only change the reaching more people lever. So now I have 2,000 leads. So I've sent more traffic, more warm leads to my website. I'm still only converting at 1%. And that I still have a $100 product. So that means now I have 20 customers and I'm making $2,000. Awesome. Okay, let's park that. What if I was converting more people? So what if I focused on optimizing that sales page so that it communicated my value a little bit more effectively? And so now I still have 1,000 leads, but I'm converting them at 3%. Still only have a $100 product, but I have 30 customers now, which means I'm making $3,000. Cool. Let's park that. What if I charged more? So I've still got 1,000 leads, still have a 1% conversion rate, but now I have a $500 product. So now I'm making $5,000. So in my business, when I'm thinking about, I want to make more money, how the hell am I going to do it? These are the three things I focus on. How can I reach more people? How can I do a better job at converting people through my messaging, or, through maybe my proposals or maybe my sales calls? Or how can I charge more? So each of those three levers you can look at to determine the actions you take in your business to make more money. So it's a great question to ask yourself, again, over a glass of wine on a Thursday. What levers can you start to pull in your business to make more money? Over time, you can actually work on all three, and that's where you really start to find that scale. So if you're constantly thinking about, okay, how are we driving more warm leads to that sales page? Or how am I doing a better job at communicating? Or how am I increasing my pricing, or adding in a new product that costs more? You can really start to work on all three of those levers. My suggestion is start with one. Start with one that feels good, because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. And then as we start to see success with that lever, then we move on to the second one. Okay, number 4. Let me check the time. See, I'm not ranting. Good. Okay, we're good for time. Know your numbers. So embrace a numbers-driven approach to sales. What we want to do here is we want to eliminate emotion. So it is really, really easy in business to take things personally. And after 12 years, I still haven't nailed it. I still have those days where I'm like, oh my God, that person not buying from me means that I'm a horrible person. But that is not reality. That is just our fabulous brains working their magic. So I love this method of knowing your numbers, because it helps to take the emotion out of it and help us make decisions from more of a data-driven approach. So know your numbers. Have we heard that one before? As you know, I think in business, know your numbers is one that gets thrown out quite a lot. It's one of those things that, have you ever said to yourself before, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I get this? What's wrong with that landing page? What's wrong with my social media? Why won't people pay me for what I do? Again, have you said that to yourself? I have said that to myself. So knowing your numbers is the key to taking the emotion out of sales and getting real about what you need to do to fix it. So if you're resonating with any of those thoughts and feelings or statements that we might have said to ourselves, this is awesome. So what are the metrics that matter? Let's take us back to our status quo, this black box, which is, I know 1,000 leads I converted a 1% conversion rate, I have a $100 product, that's how much money I make. So you can, again, overcomplicate sales as much as you like. You can measure so many different metrics. It's ridiculous. Here's a little hot tip. I used to work with a co-founder in my other business, Scrunch, and they would measure so many metrics in our business. I swear to you that it would take a month to actually measure everything to then try and figure out what we were doing for the next month. It was an absolute outrage. At one stage, our entire customer journey map was mapped out on the entire wall of our office with post-it notes for every metric at every point. It was so complicated. It was ridiculous. So my philosophy in business is there are metrics that matter. There are metrics that you can understand what's working and what's not working, pull levers, and have a huge impact on your business without making things complicated, without spending hours reporting. And the 4 of them that usually are how much traffic do you get? How many leads do you get? What's your conversion rate? And how much money do you make? If you know those 4 things, it very, very quickly helps you identify where you need to do some work. So a quick question, who measures all 4 of those? You can drop it in the chat. Do you measure 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them? I'd love to know where we are sitting as a group. And don't get me wrong, I am a salesperson by trade. I have been a business owner for 12 years, and I am sometimes delinquent in my reporting of these 4 metrics. So yes, but would love to. Tiffany, 4, but I think I'm trained by you, Dan. Thank you. Tiffany has done said sales course before. I only measure one. It's no stress at all. I love it. It's always good to know where people are at. So these are the 4 metrics that matter. Now, the magic sales metric. Oh, we've got one more person in there. Not very good, but Tricia working out. Love that, Kelly. I need to do it. Yes, I know. Well, today can be everyone's motivation to get around those 4 sales metrics. But one that I wanted to dive particularly deep into today is conversion rate, because conversion rate is really the key to taking the emotion out of sales. And I'll get to that in 2 seconds, but let's talk about what a conversion rate is. So a conversion rate, I call it the magic sales metric. It is literally just figuring out the number of conversions that you have divided by the total interactions. So let's just say you have a sales page. How many people land on that sales page actually buy? So how many interactions versus how many conversions? So let's just say we had 50 conversions from 1,000 interactions. So I had 1,000 people land on my sales page, 50 purchased. That means I have a 5% conversion rate. Now, why is that? Why is that magic? If you know your conversion rate, it actually tells you how much effort is required to meet your goal-ish. So there's always a caveat because, you know, global financial crises, pandemics, cost of living, who can account for those? But this is something that we can control. So let me do some quick math with you guys to show you exactly what I mean. So let's just say we're upping the ante. So our $100,000 sales goal has now gone to $1 million. So I want my business to make $1 million in revenue. Let's just say I sell something worth $1,000. So therefore I need to sell 1,000 of them. I have done the math on my sales page and I know that it converts at 2%. So therefore 1,000 is 2%. That actually tells me that I need 50,000 people to land on that sales page for me to sell 1,000 of my things to make $1 million in revenue. So the question I ask myself is, have I done the work? Have my sales and marketing activities driven 50,000 people to the landing page? No. Well, then it's not me. I can take the emotion out of it. It's not me. They're not buying because I'm a crap person. It's because I haven't done the work. My strategies and tactics are not sending 50,000 people to that landing page. So it's very simply, then I sit down and I go, okay, how do I send 50,000 people to a landing page? I stop thinking, I'm crap, nobody likes me, no one's going to buy from me, clearly I'm a shit business owner. And it goes to, how do I drive 50,000 people to that landing page? So if you're stuck on how to reach more people, I have a few ideas for you. In fact, I've got 26 of them. So if you're sitting in the camp of, I just need to drive more people to said opportunity, to sales page, to book a call with me, to my course, to whatever it is, we created this free workshop. It's on the SPARK website. It's 26 free sales and marketing ideas. Not only is the workshop free, but all the ideas inside the workshop are free as well, because who doesn't love just working on a little hustle rather than spending a lot of money on paid things? So, and the reason we picked 26 of them was because there's 26 fortnights in a year. So you can every fortnight try a new way to drive more people to your business. And by the end of the year, I'm telling you, if you've tried 26 things by the end of the year, you're definitely going to see success. Okay, number 5, making sales a priority. Scheduling sales activities into your routine makes sure they get attention. Now, I love a little tough love, but if you're not making time for sales, it's not really a priority, is it? I know, I said it. So here's how to make it a little bit cooler, a little bit more fun, is don't call it sales. So every day I block out time in my calendar for sales, but I do not call it sales because that's boring and who wants to do sales work? So in my diary, it's called Building the Empire with little dollar sign emojis. For one of my coaching clients, it is Whit Sunday's holiday. So for an hour every day, she has Whit Sunday's holiday in her diary. And that is the signal to her why she is sitting there doing cold outreach or following up proposals or, doing sales tasks, is because she wants to take her family on an amazing Whit Sunday's holiday. So whatever it is for you, make sure it's a priority, make sure it's in your calendar, but call it something that is the North Star. Call it something that is exciting and actually lights you up. Thanks, Christine. Sorry, just reading the chat to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, and the final one, number 6, joy in the sales process. So this is super important. We need to shift our perspective. At the very start of today, I said, a lot of us have negative connotations around sales. We don't want to be the used car salesman. We don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be that sales girl following us around the store. We're just solving a problem, right? We believe in what we're doing. We know that we can impact our community. We need to shift our perspective on sales and make it a joy. So first things first, I want to share a thought with you, and that is there is evidence to support every strategy. So you can be a person that wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning and be a millionaire. You can be a person that wakes up at midday and is a millionaire. You can be the type of person that, journals and meditates and walks and runs and does all of the things and be a millionaire. And you can be somebody that sits on the couch and eats junk food and drinks too much wine and is a millionaire. So, we don't want to say, well, the reason I'm not making the sales in my business is because I don't want to dance on reels, or I don't want to do this. And we can use that as an excuse. But what I'm telling you is there is evidence to support business success in every method. So if you can find what lights you up and what sparks joy in your sales process, you will be successful. So how do you find it? How do you make it fun and flowy? So I'll go first. I'll share mine with you. So I do my sales outreach either on a treadmill. So I also hate exercising. So I trick myself into exercising by walking on a treadmill. I have my TV in front of the treadmill. So I have something, that I can half pay attention to. And if I'm doing cold LinkedIn outreach, which is pretty like copy and paste, I do it on the treadmill. So I've gotten an hour of walking and an hour of sales outreach done in one session. If I'm doing something that's a little bit more in-depth, so I want it more personalized, I'm going to research the person and what have you, then I do it with a wine in my hand. I always say this, I always bang on about wine if anybody knows me, but it's a really interesting thing about sales and wine, right? So if you think about cold outreach, it's boring, right? It's better with a wine in your hand. If you think about the next step of sales, building relationships, how much more fun is it if you're sitting across from someone having a glass of wine and you reframe a sales conversation to just building a relationship and having a wine with a cool person? So, again, how do we reframe it to make it fun and flowy? So again, I'll ask you, what lights you up? Do you love networking? Do you love connecting people? Do you love going to physical events and getting that energy? Maybe you're a voice noter. I won't hold that against you if you are a voice noter. Maybe you love telling stories and communicating. So show up on stories and just talk more. Maybe you're a data nerd. Maybe you're a little bit more introverted data nerd and you want to build and optimize funnels. There is evidence to support every different strategy being a success. So whatever it is for you, find that joy and just do more of it. That's my hot tip. Oh, I'm going to jump in here. I do everything with music. Makes it feel like a dance. Yes, that's so good. I love that. Ask my friends to help me be inspired. What would they like to see? And yes, with the wine in my hand. So good, Kelly. I love that so much. Awesome. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how disappointed is everyone on the call right now that all of these tips are boring? there was no unicorn tip, right? I didn't tell you to wave a magic wand and everything would be okay. If there's one thing I've learned over the last 12 years in business is that kind of you do need to learn to love the boring stuff. But again, if we can bring our own little magic and joy to it, it makes it all worthwhile. So this is a chance to ask me anything. We've got 15 minutes left, but I've got all the time in the world. So if anyone wants to drop a question in the chat or come off mute, or if you are uncomfortable asking in front of everyone, my virtual door is always open. My email is danielle@sparkbusiness.global. Would absolutely be honored to share my experience if you've got a bespoke question about your business. Super happy to help. But yeah, does anyone have any questions? Oh, we got one come in the chat. Kelly, which social media channel do you find best to drive sales? It's a great question, Kelly. So it depends on your product and your industry, or product or service or industry. So if you are a product-based e-commerce business, especially in the lifestyle space, then Instagram and TikTok are best. If you are a service-based industry, LinkedIn is absolutely phenomenal. Twitter doesn't have, there's not a lot of activity on Twitter in Australia anymore, or X, I think it's called now. So probably wouldn't bother so much with that. If your demographic is a little older, then Facebook is still killing it. So yeah, absolutely. The answer to any of those questions is always, where is your customer? So look for where your customer is already hanging out and invest in that channel. Can you please send a direct link to the 26 ideas? Absolutely. I'll flick everyone a note after this session with the slides and a link to that 26 free ideas masterclass. No worries, Kat. Anushi has to drop off. No stress. That's all good. Awesome. Anyone else have any questions? I'm an open book, happy to share anything. And you are welcome to come off the mute if that is more your style.
Danielle, so yes, I have a question regarding Facebook. I closed all my Facebook accounts. I'm not a Facebook fan at all, but I do hear you, and I do work with an older demographic. Is it still beneficial to have a business?
Sorry, you just cut out there, but what I think I heard you say is that if you hate Facebook, totally on board, but you cater to an older demographic, is it still worthwhile having a Facebook business page? Is that what you asked?
Yes, if I don't want to do the personal page thing, is it still, beneficial to do a business page only on Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll still be searchable. So anything that you post there that has keywords and hashtags will come up when people are searching for your solution. So it is very beneficial. And also, if you ever want to run paid ads in the future, having a business page that's got a little bit of history is a good thing as well. So I do still recommend it.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries. No worries at all.
I do have a question about market research. I'm struggling to figure out ways to convince people that have used a similar service in the past to talk to me and maybe fill a survey. What kind of incentives I can give them other than a $10 coffee voucher. That's the only idea I came up with. Yeah, how to reach to, I'm in building consultancy, so trying to figure out how to get some market insight and market research with actual someone who's a customer of someone else.
Yeah, so there's a few things that you can do. I do appreciate, sometimes it's not always worth it for the person for the voucher, or sometimes if you want to interview too many people, then it becomes an expensive exercise. The way we've seen it work well in the past is that at the end of your market research, you'll produce a white paper or report and give that back to the person so that they're contributing to a resource, but they will also get insight into what other people's answers have been, because you'll be producing some kind of resource. So I found that can work really well for people. The other thing is free consultation. So it can be in exchange for your insights, for your answering these questions, I will provide you with XYZ for free. Because that can also be a great way for them to kind of get a little teaser or a test of the consulting service that you actually provide. So yeah, they're probably the two that I would test out next.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't think of those ones. Brilliant. Thank you.
Awesome. Love it. Tiffany has just dropped in the chat. Do you still offer the sales training course, the one I did? We do. We just do it a little bit differently now. So we've actually incorporated into the SPARK membership. So all SPARK members actually have access to what was a 12-week program that was like, I don't know, it's like $1,000 or something. So we've said, no, it should be accessible to all SPARK members. So now you actually get that inside the SPARK membership. So yes, it's still around and it's inside the membership. And if you, Tiffany, I know because you're a lifetime member, because you did that sales course, if you can't access it, let me know and I'll make sure that I help you get into the portal.
Thank you. I definitely see it worthwhile, and probably something that I'll buy some extra memberships for our team. But if anyone here hasn't done that yet, like, it's such a good flow on from this, Danny. Like, it's yeah, it was good for a refresher, but that's definitely the next step. So worth it, guys, if you haven't.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm very glad. I will talk about sales till the cows come home. So always happy to hear that. Amazing. Anybody else have any questions? Again, if you think of something, it's always the way, like, hang up and then think of something. So if you do, just reach out and email me. I'm happy to chat.
Thank you. Great session, Danny. I've got a race, but awesome session. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiffany. Bye.
Bye.
Christy, thank you. No worries, Christy, all good. The recording will be circulated later this afternoon anyway, so no stress. Thanks, Elle. Is it Ellie or Elle? I'm feeling like I'm saying it wrong.
It's Elle. Thanks for asking.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Elle. Amazing. Awesome. Everyone have a fabulous day. It was so lovely for everyone to be here and chat. I appreciate you. And yeah, if you need anything, just let me know.